So it's getting on to the evening on day 23 and made a bit more progress. All of the lower bridge sections for the trapdoors are in place, properly positioned. All these doors are all built and painted. They have a small plastic coloured section at the top, scored, and then the rest of it is just painted, masked again. Same technique, I've been using that a lot for the sake of speed. Been using a hell of a lot of weathering powder, which is good stuff. Has a few downsides though, one of which when you use this kind of quantity of the stuff, it gets everywhere. No, by the time I got home last night, I looked like a chimney sweep. It gets in your hair, it gets on your face, it gets on every surface, everywhere. So I'm doing all my painting next door, or at least weathering and spraying and then bringing the parts in here so it doesn't contaminate the rest of it. But yeah, it's been okay. Now the guys are back. Basically I'm going to have to swallow my pride a little bit and outsource a lot of the different painting parts to have any kind of hope of getting this to salute in any sort of reasonably viewable condition. You know, it's not, I've done more than it looks here, because there's 50 doors here that you can't see, and there's 50 more of the sliding doors next door being non-oiled at the moment. So there's things are happening. Tomorrow I've got all four guys helping out on various painting jobs, things like inking and stuff like that, with all the other parts that I made earlier, things like the engines and some of the other doors, magnetising certain things. Hopefully the plan is that tonight I can finish the base to the point where I can flip the ship over, and then I can start work on the back section, which that should be a lot faster, to be honest, because that's basically a shade clad in the armor pads. There is some interior, which is the albatross hanger underneath. I'm going to leave that till last though, because at this point I'm going to have to start potentially cutting some corners in order to get it to salute on time. It doesn't necessarily have to end at salute. I can do more work on it afterwards, but it just needs to be there looking like a spaceship. So that's the plan. I'm going to be up very late tonight, probably all night the night after, very late the night after that, all night the night after that, and then when it's salute, I mean, the guys are going to set up while I'm working on this overnight on Friday, because it'll come to that, because it always does, and then it will go straight from the office to the venue on Saturday morning. That's the plan, as long as I've got the thing looking presentable. So I better shut up and get on with it, to be honest. I'll check in later on. Okay, so the doors are now in place. We've tested the mechanism and it does work. I'll show you this before the top of the base goes on. You see there's a large steel drive shaft running all the way down there, and then bearings mounted inside the brackets. Basically all the doors all go up all at once. They lock themselves into position just by friction. It takes a bit of coaxing to get them all to swing down, but it does work. I mean, it won't really need to be moved more than once or twice per show, so it's perfectly good for our purposes. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. Now I'm going to work on this area here, which is with the pole that I built earlier a couple of days ago. That's going to go on the top of here, get screwed down, and then get cladded and weathered, and then I'm actually done with the underside of the ship. Okay, we're getting on to the evening of day 24, and finally at last, the bottom of the ship is finished. All the doors are all done. These do open all at once. They're on a big drive shaft. All the independent little doors, they all move. It's finished quite a bit later than I'd hoped, to be honest, because there were more complications. The doors didn't quite fit properly because there was a small deformation in the strut parts, which meant I had to machine away some of the doors to get them to move smoothly. But they do, and it works now, so that's done with. So now it's time to finally turn the ship back over to the right way. I'm going to reconfigure the shipyard and move the whole ship right up against the wall that way to give me a lot more desk to work on the back end of the ship. That's going to have to be work of... Yeah, I'm going to have to be unbelievably fast with it, to be honest, because, well, the others are doing pretty well on their parts of things. So the payload is well on the way to being painted. All the condors are all painted, all the rapiers are painted, all the bears are painted, the sabres are being painted, all the carriages and all the engine parts are all undercoated, and some of them are inked, so washed. So they're on the way, which is good. So things are happening. I think it will come together. The back end of the ship will be easy, I think. At least there's me saying this again. But it really ought to be, because 90% of the components and basically all the moving parts in the ship are all here. And that's where it's hard, because you've got to get everything to fit and work. You know, a shape with some armour cladding around it, that should be a bit easier. Having said that, it is Tuesday evening and setup is Saturday morning. So there's still a hell of a lot more to do and not very long to do it in. So even though I've not had a lot of sleep for a long time, I'm just going to work through the night tonight and see what I can get done. Get a decent sleep tomorrow night, maybe. Hopefully having made some progress, because the one thing you've learned when you build big models is the size of what you're doing has almost nothing to do with how long it takes. Sometimes you'll spend all day, like I did early in the project, just preparing little pieces, and then sometimes you'll spend 10 minutes and you put all the parts together and it looks great. So, you know, there's very few sort of unprepared resin parts left now. It's just literally panels, that's it, and the doors the doors are prepared for the top deck. They just need to be magnetised, which the others can help me with. So no, I've got some people to help me out with some of the painting jobs and things like that, and I think things will move on. My face is still like a chimney sweep's, because it's covered in weathering powder and you can't get that stuff off and it gets everywhere, so that's nice, and I expect I'll look worse tomorrow. But we'll see how the evening goes, and I'll check in later at some stage or in the morning. So I thought I'd do a quick close-up of some of the details on the underside of the ship. I've not painted as many of the details chrome as I'd have liked. To be honest, the plan at the moment is to just get the thing built and looking like a finished spaceship, and then I can always modify it and improve it after Salute for other shows in the future. You know, it can be an ongoing project. So there you get some idea of the scale and the amount of work that's gone into this. And this is the underside, you know, but there is, in many ways it's more difficult because it's got more moving parts that I had to work on, and to get these gates to all work together wasn't easy. These all shift up and down as well. That one's a stiff one for some reason. And they have a small pin in there to stop them from dropping out because they're not on a drive shaft anymore. But they work, magnetised in at the bottom as well, so when it's the right way up they won't just drop out. So there you go. So I'm going to get on with the turn.